Welcome back, everybody. This is our watch list for the week of September 4th. Obviously, the trading day starts on Tuesday because of the long weekend. So I hope you guys enjoyed your long weekend. This is the watch list for the week. I put these lists out for you guys for free every single day. These watch lists for the weekly swings, for the daily swings. There's going to be a monthly swing setup video coming out very, very shortly as well. So make sure you look for that. There will be no Tuesday day setup. I'm not doing them for the first day of the week anymore. That's just what we're going to do. But thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to get started on this list. If the ads roll through, guys, I'm going to ask you guys, in order to keep this stuff free, let those ads roll through. It helps pay for my time, so I appreciate that in advance. I'll go through this right before we start. This screen that you see right here, this is TradingView. So TradingView is something that you're going to need in order to swing trade, day trade, and if you guys are looking for something like this, I have a link in the description below. You click on that link, you get a free 30-day trial, and then if you decide to use their sub-services, you get up to $30 off of that subscription. So feel free to check that out. It is free. Let's get started on this list. Okay, the first one we've got here is CVS. So CVS, I'm glad this one is on here because Addicts Trade, it's something he's talked about just recently, and that's this 1-3 setup that we have here. It's also called a Nirvana. It was named Nirvana by Trading Wars, so shout out to Trading Wars. He was kind of the guy that gave me my start on the inside bars, and then I kind of morphed into the strat, which is what we teach here. But the 1-3, so it's an inside bar. It breaks the high side. It breaks the low side. That gives you that outside bar. It breaks both the high and the low of the previous candle. And the inside bar obviously stays within the high and the low of the previous candle. It's consolidating. And we have these. They tend to be very powerful. So if you go back and try to find in time, the last time we had one, here's one right here. A 1-3 setup. Okay. And we had this big run to the top for 3 straight weeks it ran. Okay. So it is something that we don't talk about a lot, the 1-3 setup, but it is very powerful. It has that same kind of effect as a 3-1, and it's something that maybe we should start looking at. So we can look at that, and all we're going to do for this, guys, is we can look for the break of the high or the low of this 1-3 setup. Now, obviously, we're closer to the downside than we are to the upside. So that pink trigger is what I've got marked out there right here. I'm just going to take away these yellow lines because those usually mark out my dailies, and we'll have a little bit less scatter on here. So this is all we look for. We look for those triggers at the pink line at puts at 65.13, and then we can just look for our first targets here at the bottom of the preceding wicks. That's always how we mark the targets. It's no different. You want to find your next target, you go to the next low of the preceding wick, no matter how far back in time you have to go. So there you're looking way, way down here. That's a long, long ways to go to hit that target. But not saying we can't hit it, but that's how we mark out our target. So that's the 1-3 setup. From there, we're going to go to American Airlines. So AAL has the inside bar. So the inside bar doesn't break the high, does not break the low of the previous candle, stays within the range. So we look for the break to either side, and that's the trigger that we take. And then our targets, again, we just take the highs of the preceding wicks or the lows of the preceding wicks for the targets, which would be here, then here, then here. We don't go through the wicks to make targets. We just take the next target down. So there, there, there. Okay? Fairly simple. I hope you guys all enjoyed your long weekend. You can comment down below what you did. I'd like to hear about it. AMD, inside bar as well, so we can look for calls to the upside, puts to the downside. And I always tell people, like, if you guys are looking for something, and maybe not so much for swing trading, but when you're looking in the day trading end of things, you're new or you're struggling, I always tell people to look for those inside bars because they're super easy to spot. So mine are marked in yellow. My outside bars are marked in white. That's because of the indicator I created for you guys. The indicator has this. It also includes this time frame continuity. It includes the candlestick numbers, the 1s, the 2s, the 3s, and a bunch of other things. You can get that indicator. The link is in the description below, or it comes with the Griswold Gold membership. So we go back in time and look for the last inside bar we had. That's what we look for. Boom, to the upside, hit targets. Okay, inside bar, boom, to the downside. We didn't hit targets, but a really, really nice run off of that inside bar, and that's all we look for. Does it always happen? Do we always get those big runs? No, but here we triggered and we hit targets. Those targets, guys, that tells us where we should be taking our profit. That's what it does. That's what those targets do. They tell us where we should be taking profit. Okay? They don't always go on big runs, but the candlesticks tell a story. They're saying when we trigger, get in the trade. When we hit targets, there's your opportunity to get out of the trade, to take some profit. Here's a double inside bar with a big move to the downside. Now here's that 1-3 setup that we talked about earlier, and I'm glad this one popped up because they don't always work, guys. The probability is very, very high that they work out, but you can see this one, we didn't go on a big run here at all. And that's just what happens with trading. There is no trader out there. There is no furu, whatever you want to call them. There is nobody out there on Twitter, on YouTube who can sit there and tell you they know exactly what's going to happen, because nobody knows what the next candlestick is going to be here. When this week opens up, no one can tell you what this is going to be. They can't tell you if it's going to go 2 up, 2 down, inside bar, 3 bar. They cannot tell you. They don't know. It's a probability game. And when you realize that it's all probability, the wins and losses start to matter a little less. And you start to realize that it is a game of probabilities. And if you play the probabilities, probability is you're going to win more times than you lose, or on the right end of a trade more than you're on the wrong end of a trade. But when you're on the wrong end, you need to make sure you're cutting those losses, because those losses can add up very, very quickly. And that's exactly what we teach you on this channel. Maybe not on this video, but on the channel where I've got 100+ learning tool videos, that's exactly what we teach you guys how to do. Okay, we move to Boeing. So Boeing has this 2 up, finished red, and we have a shooter candle. So there's 3 actionable signals when we talk about the strat. There's a shooter candle where we have the body at the bottom with the wick to the top. There's a hammer candle where we have the body at the top and the long wick to the bottom. Looks like a hammer, looks like an inverse hammer, and then this inside bar. Those are all 3 actionable signals, meaning they're high probability setups for something to go in our direction. So the shooter candle is bearish, the hammer candle is bullish, the inside candle can go either direction. So now we have a 2 up that finished red. So we broke the high side of the previous candle. That's a 2. We went to the upside. That's a 2 up. Now we've started to come back down. The sellers have taken over. So now we can look 2 up red, 2-2 reversal to the downside with triggers off of this pink line. 221.95 is your trigger. Your strike price when you're taking these guys. And this is just me. It doesn't have to be you. You guys can get a 222 strike price, a 223, 224. I don't care. For me, I'm getting a 221, maybe a 220 on this. I like to get 2 strike prices outside of my trigger point. So 221.95, I might take a 222 here, but I'm looking more likely at a 221 or a 220 strike price. And you want to get for these weekly swings at least 2 weeks out. You can get more, but get at least 2 weeks, okay? Get your expiry at least 2 weeks out. So we take the trigger price. This becomes our target. Now let me show you something. This blue line represents, for me anyways, that's how I mark it out. On the monthly, marks out my trigger to the downside for the month. Okay, so we were 2 up on the month and finished red, means the sellers took over. We're going to look for a 2-2 reversal on the month. So if we trigger this pink line, our first target is the trigger for the monthly. So you have the potential there. It's a domino effect. The week triggers the month. It gives you the opportunity to hold that trade a little bit longer if we hit this target and go through it, okay? BAC. BAC has an inside bar, so we look for the calls to the upside, puts to the downside, and then the monthly, we're stuck here on an inside bar. So if I go to the month, there we are. We're looking to break out of this inside bar. So again, we go back to the weekly. And we're much closer to the downside than we are to the upside. So if we trigger and hit first targets, we've also triggered 2 down on the month. Okay? So take that into account when you're looking at these things. Citigroup, Citibank, okay? Inside bar, calls at 41.86, puts at 41.01. JP Morgan, inside bar again. So we can look for the calls at 149.15, puts at 145.70, and again here you see the first target, 145.46, is also the trigger for the month to go 2 down. Okay, I go back to the month. There's my inside bar on the month. I'm looking to break 2 down on the month. Okay, so the strat works, it's fractal, so it works almost like a domino effect. So we can go from the day, triggers the week, triggers the month. Any sort of combination of that, the 15 can trigger the 30, can trigger the hour. So here on the daily, we would just be looking at a 2-2 continuation, but that 2-2 continuation would trigger the 1-2 down on the week and the 1-2 down on the month. Okay? That makes sense for you guys. Make sure you let me know. If it doesn't, also let me know. If you like the videos, make sure you give me a thumbs up. I'm on Twitter as well, Mr. Clark Griswold, or I have a Discord. That Discord is free to join, guys. It's absolutely free. I know the group Sepia has kind of dissipated, so if you guys are looking for a spot, I have a whole bunch of free rooms in there. There is a paid portion. It gets you extra stuff like a 1-hour strat course that I've created, live trading bots, the top 5 from these setups, okay, one-on-ones with me. It includes all that in the $50 membership, and it's super cheap. You can pay for it in one trade. I promise you that. But outside of that, let's get back to this. The Discord is free, okay? The link is in the description below. Inside bar on Macy's as well. We go to Moderna. Moderna 2 up red. We're going to look for this to go 2 up, 2 down reversal with puts at 111.57 on the weeklies. Microsoft, Rob Smith always called this Mr. Softy. Inside bar, we can go 2 up with 331.99 triggers or 2 down with 321.72 triggers. Nike with an inside bar, so calls at 102.96, puts at 98.87. NVIDIA inside bar, calls at 499.27, puts at 448.88. And if you follow these pink lines across, that's all I'm doing. Follow it across, and that's where the value I'm calling out is 499.27 right here, 448.88. We move on to Target. Target also with the inside bar, so the calls at 127.70, puts at 121.44. Wells Fargo inside bar, pretty close to a shooter candle here. So the puts are more probable at 41.11, calls at 42.37. XLV 2 up, finish red, shooter candle. We're going to look for this to come back down on the healthcare ETF with 133.18 triggers. And then back up to CVS where we have this 1-3 setup again. Super powerful setup, guys. So maybe you can look for these over the weekend, this last little part of the rest of your long weekend. Go search for these 1-3s on different time frames and see how they played out, okay? Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I wish you nothing but the best, nothing but good luck. Come join us in the Discord for some chat on Tuesday morning as we run through the market. I will be looking at SPY, as always, for my SPY 155 setups. I'm going to have a video out today, Monday, as well, just on how the SPY 155 played out on Friday, okay, this past Friday. Worked out, again, like a gem. Good luck trading, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.